Hello, everyone. Today we're going to learn another 10 common idioms, phrases, and sentences that native English speakers use every single day. These expressions are super useful, and I promise by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what these expressions mean and how to use them naturally in your own conversations. Here's how you can get the most out of this video. First, listen while reading the subtitles. This will help you catch every word and follow along more easily. Then, play the video again and try to repeat the sentences out loud, but this time without reading the subtitles. This will really help you improve your pronunciation, listening, and speaking skills. Don't forget to pause and write down any new idioms or phrases you like. That way, you can remember and review them later. This is a great way to boost your listening, reading, and speaking, all at the same time. This lesson is a fun and simple way to improve your English step by step. Before we dive in, if you're finding this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps a ton, and I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started with our first expression. Number 1, it doesn't make sense. This is such a common expression that you'll hear Americans use all the time. When something doesn't make sense, it means it's confusing, illogical, or hard to understand. It's like when you're trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces just don't fit together properly. Let me tell you a story. Last week, my friend Sarah was telling me about her new job schedule. She said, I have to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but then I also have to work every other Saturday, except when it's a full moon, and then I work Sunday instead. I looked at her and said, Sarah, that doesn't make sense at all. How do you even keep track of when you're supposed to work? We use this expression when instructions are unclear, when someone's explanation is confusing, or when a situation seems really weird or illogical. It's a polite way to say, I don't understand, or that's confusing. For example, you might say, the directions to the party don't make sense. It says turn left at the red house, but there are 3 red houses on that street. Here's another one. It doesn't make sense to buy a winter coat in July when it's on sale if you're moving to Florida next month. People often say, your math homework doesn't make sense. Let me help you figure it out. Have you ever been in a situation where someone gave you instructions that didn't make sense? I bet you have. This expression is perfect for those moments. Number 2, I can't keep up with you. This expression is so useful, and it has a couple of different meanings depending on the situation. The most common meaning is when someone is talking too fast, moving too quickly, or doing something at a pace that's too fast for you to follow. I remember when I first started learning Spanish, I had this teacher who spoke incredibly fast. During our first lesson, I had to stop her and say, I'm sorry, but I can't keep up with you. Could you please speak a little slower? She was so understanding and slowed down immediately. But this expression isn't just about speed. It can also mean you can't match someone's level of skill, energy, or ability. Like if you're playing a sport with someone who's much better than you, or if you're trying to follow a conversation about a topic you don't know much about. For example, if you're walking with someone who has really long legs and they're walking super fast, you might say, hey, slow down. I can't keep up with you. You might hear something like, I can't keep up with all these new social media apps. Every week there's a new one. Let's take this one. I can't keep up with you when you're talking about computer programming. Could you explain it more simply? This expression is really helpful when you need someone to slow down or when you want to admit that something is too advanced for your current level. Don't feel bad about using it. It's actually a sign of good communication. Number 3, Let's recap. This is a super professional and useful expression that you'll hear a lot in meetings, classes, and even casual conversations. When someone says, let's recap, they want to quickly review or summarize what has already been discussed or what has happened. Think of it like this. Imagine you're reading a really long book, and at the end of each chapter, there's a short summary of the important points. That's basically what a recap is, a quick review of the main points. I use this expression all the time when I'm teaching or when I'm in meetings at work. Just yesterday, I was in a team meeting that went on for almost an hour. Toward the end, my boss said, "Okay, let's recap what we've decided today. First, we're going to launch the new product in March. Second, Sarah will handle the marketing campaign. And third, we need to hire 2 more people for the customer service team." For example, after explaining a complicated recipe to a friend, you might say, let's recap the main steps. First, you mix the dry ingredients, then you add the wet ingredients, and finally, you bake it for 30 minutes. People often say, before we finish today's lesson, let's recap the 3 grammar rules we learned. Here's another one. Let's recap what happened in the movie so far because I'm getting confused. This expression makes you sound really organized and professional. Have you ever used let's recap in your own language? It's the same idea in English. Number 4, from now on. This is such a practical expression that you'll use constantly once you learn it. From now on means starting at this moment and continuing into the future. It's like drawing a line in the sand and saying, things are going to be different starting right now. I love this expression because it's so clear and decisive. It's often used when someone wants to make a change or establish a new rule or habit. It's like saying, this is how things will be from this point forward. Let me share a funny story with you. My roommate used to always leave dirty dishes in the sink, and it was driving me crazy. One day, I finally had enough and said, from now on, whoever cooks dinner also has to clean the dishes immediately afterward. No more leaving them in the sink. And you know what? It actually worked. We've been following that rule ever since. For example, you might say, from now on, I'm going to exercise every morning before work. You might hear something like, from now on, all meetings will start exactly on time. If you're late, you'll have to wait until the next meeting. Imagine this. From now on, we're only going to speak English during our study sessions to help us practice more. This expression is perfect when you want to make a change in your life or when you want to establish new rules. It shows that you're serious about making a change and sticking with it. Number 5, I can get in trouble. This expression is so relatable because we've all been in situations where we might get in trouble for something. When you say, I can get in trouble, you're worried that you might be punished, scolded, or face negative consequences for doing something or not doing something. It's different from saying, I am in trouble, that would mean you're already facing consequences. But when you say, I can get in trouble, you're talking about something that might happen in the future if you're not careful. I remember when I was in college, I had this part-time job at a coffee shop. One day, my manager wasn't there, and my friends came in and asked me to give them free coffee. I said, I can't do that. I can get in trouble if my manager finds out. I could even lose my job. Even though I wanted to help my friends, I knew it wasn't worth the risk. For example, a student might say, I can get in trouble if I don't turn in my homework tomorrow. People often say, I can get in trouble with my parents if I come home after midnight. Let's take this one. I can get in trouble at work if I keep showing up late. This expression is really useful when you want to explain why you can't do something, or why you need to be careful about something. It's a polite way to say no when someone asks you to do something risky. Have you ever been in a situation where you were worried about getting in trouble? Number 6. I'm a bit jet-lagged. This expression is perfect for our modern world, where people travel across different time zones. Jet lag happens when you travel to a different time zone and your body's internal clock gets confused. You might feel tired when you should be awake, or wide awake when you should be sleeping. When someone says, "I'm a bit jet-lagged," they're explaining why they might seem tired, confused, or not quite themselves. The word bit here makes it sound less serious, like it's not too bad, but it's still affecting them. I experienced this myself last month when I flew from New York to Tokyo. The time difference was 13 hours. When I arrived in Tokyo, it was morning there, but my body felt like it was nighttime. I was so tired during my first day of meetings. I had to tell my colleagues, "I'm sorry if I seem a little slow today. I'm a bit jet-lagged from the long flight." For example, you might say, "I'm a bit jet-lagged, so I might go to bed early tonight." You might hear something like, "Don't mind me if I seem tired today. I'm a bit jet-lagged from my trip to London." Here's another one. "I'm a bit jet-lagged, so I accidentally called my boss at 3 a.m. thinking it was a normal time." Even if you don't travel internationally very often, this expression is good to know because you might hear it from friends, colleagues, or people you meet who do travel. It's also a good way to explain why you're feeling tired or off schedule for any reason. Number 7, my hands are tied. This is such a useful expression, but it might sound a bit strange at first. Don't worry, it has nothing to do with actually tying someone's hands. When someone says, "My hands are tied," it means they can't help you or do what you want because of rules, policies, or circumstances beyond their control. It's like saying, "I would love to help you, but I'm not allowed to, or I don't have the power to change this situation." People often use this expression when they work in customer service, government offices, or any job where they have to follow strict rules. Let me tell you about a time when I heard this expression. I was trying to return a shirt to a store, but I had lost my receipt, and it had been more than 30 days since I bought it. The store employee looked at me sympathetically and said, "I'm really sorry, but my hands are tied. Our store policy says we can't accept returns without a receipt after 30 days. I wish I could help you, but I could lose my job if I break the rules." For example, a teacher might say, "I know you were sick during the test, but my hands are tied. The school policy says all students must take the test on the scheduled day." People often say, "I'd love to give you a discount, but my hands are tied. The prices are set by corporate headquarters." Imagine this. "I want to let you bring your dog to the apartment, but my hands are tied. The lease clearly says no pets allowed." This expression shows that the person wants to help, but genuinely can't because of rules or policies. It's more polite than just saying no because it explains that it's not their personal choice. Number 8, I'm versatile. This is such a positive expression to describe yourself or someone else. When you say, "I'm versatile," you mean that you can do many different things well, or you can adapt to different situations easily. It's like being a Swiss Army knife. You have many useful skills and can handle various tasks. Versatile people are really valuable in the workplace because they can help with different projects and adapt when things change. It's definitely a good quality to have and a great word to use when you're describing your skills. I have a friend named Mike who is incredibly versatile. He's a graphic designer, but he also knows how to code websites. He can write really well. He plays 3 different musical instruments, and he's even good at cooking. When his company needed someone to help with a new project that required both design and writing skills, his boss chose him immediately. Mike told me, "I think I got the project because I'm versatile. I can handle both the creative and technical parts." For example, you might say in a job interview, "I'm versatile and can work well in both team settings and independently." You might hear something like, "We need someone versatile who can handle customer service, social media, and basic bookkeeping." Let's take this one. "I'm versatile in the kitchen. I can cook Italian, Mexican, and Asian food." This is a great word to use when you want to highlight your ability to do different things or adapt to new situations. Do you consider yourself versatile? What different skills do you have? Number 9, you can't take a hint. This expression is about understanding indirect communication, and it's something that happens in every culture. When someone gives you a hint, they're trying to tell you something indirectly without saying it directly. But when someone can't take a hint, it means they don't understand these indirect messages. Sometimes people give hints because they're trying to be polite, or because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings by being too direct. But if someone doesn't understand these hints, it can lead to funny or sometimes awkward situations. I remember a situation from last year that perfectly shows this expression. My friend Tom had a crush on our coworker Lisa. Lisa was trying to politely show him that she wasn't interested. She would always say she was busy when he asked her out. She would talk about other guys she was dating, and she would always bring other people along when Tom suggested they hang out. But Tom kept asking her out. Finally, another friend had to tell Tom, "Dude, you can't take a hint. Lisa is not interested in dating you. She's been trying to tell you politely for weeks." For example, you might say to a friend, "I kept yawning and saying I was tired, but you can't take a hint. I was trying to tell you it was time to go home." People often say, "I mentioned 3 times that I don't like spicy food, but you can't take a hint. You keep suggesting spicy restaurants." Here's another one. "I've been dropping hints about my birthday for weeks, but you can't take a hint. It's next Friday." This expression is usually used when someone is a little frustrated because they've been trying to communicate something indirectly, but the other person doesn't understand. Have you ever been in a situation where someone couldn't take a hint? Number 10. That's absurd. This is a strong expression that means something is completely unreasonable, ridiculous, or doesn't make any sense at all. It's stronger than saying "that's weird" or "that's strange." When you say "that's absurd," you really think something is totally crazy or unreasonable. You might use this expression when you hear about unfair rules, unrealistic expectations, or situations that seem completely illogical. It's a way to express that you think something is so unreasonable that it's almost funny. I used this expression just last week when I was talking to my friend about her new apartment. She told me, "My landlord says I can't have any visitors after 8 p.m., I can't cook anything that smells, and I have to ask permission before I can rearrange my furniture." I immediately said, "That's absurd. You're paying rent to live there. Those rules are completely unreasonable. You should look for a different apartment." For example, you might say, "They want me to work 12 hours a day for the same salary." That's absurd. You might hear something like, "The store is charging $50 for a simple t-shirt." That's absurd. Imagine this. The professor expects us to read 200 pages and write a 10-page essay in one night. That's absurd. This expression is perfect when you want to show that you think something is completely unreasonable or ridiculous. It's stronger than just saying, "I don't like that." It shows that you think the situation is really, really unfair or illogical. Well, there you have it. 10 incredibly useful expressions that native English speakers use every single day. From "it doesn't make sense," when something is confusing, to "that's absurd." When something is completely unreasonable, these expressions will help you sound more natural and confident in your English conversations. Let's recap what we learned today. We covered expressions for when things are confusing, when you need someone to slow down, when you want to review information, when you're making changes, when you might face consequences, when you're tired from travel, when you can't help someone, when you're adaptable, when someone misses indirect messages, and when something is completely unreasonable. I really hope you found these expressions helpful. Remember, the best way to learn these is to start using them in your own conversations. Pick one or two that you think you'll use most often and try to use them this week. Which of these 10 expressions was your favorite today? Let me know in the comments how you'd use these in your daily life. I love hearing from you and seeing how you're practicing your English. Don't forget to give this video a like if it helped you, and subscribe for more English lessons. I'll be back tomorrow with 10 more useful idioms, phrases, and sentences to help you speak English more naturally. Take care and keep practicing your English. You're doing great, and I'm so proud of your progress. Remember, every expression you learn brings you one step closer to speaking English like a native speaker. I'll see you in the next video.